What are some sex books you recommend? Hi, my name is Martha. I'm a clinical sexologist with a doctorate in human sexuality, and I'm also a relationship coach. You can find me at eroscoaching.com. Okay, so during my training as a sexologist, it was pretty intense. It was 5 trips back and forth, Singapore and US, and during that time we had one of the requirements is to do X number of book reviews. I think it was like close to 30 book reviews. And of course, the learning and the reading just doesn't stop and hasn't stopped. And of the things that I was exposed to during my studies, of course, there were like certain books that were must reads. And so I would say that the books that I felt really changed my life and really helped me to open up my understanding to sexuality has to be The Erotic Mind by Jack Morin. In that book, it talked about core erotic theme, and this has to do with how our childhood experiences when it comes to sex causes this very peak experience and may set the foundation to what is an erotic theme in our lives, which means that we like it so much and it causes us to realize something in ourselves, and then we just keep doing it. And so this can become a pattern. And every single chapter of that book just kind of blew me away. Like I was learning new things about sexuality that I wouldn't have learned if I didn't read that book. And so that book is a must read. When I talk about books I would recommend. And I've been in practice for 7 years now, so I've read like a couple more 100 books since then. And I have to say it still is my favorite book. So The Erotic Mind by Jack Morin is the #1 book that I always recommend to anybody who really wants to understand about what humans are like when it comes to sex. The next book is A Mating in Captivity, and it has to do with the understanding of the model that we live in our society right now, which is marriage, and how marriage doesn't necessarily work for most people. And that book is actually not so much about promoting or advocating designer relationships or open relationships. It's really talking about the dynamics of relationships. And that book, Mating in Captivity, is by Esther Perel, and she's also done very famous TEDx talks that are basically like really like probably the best TEDx talks around the world, the most viewed. And so even before that, I was already reading this book of hers, and it's phenomenal. So that book is something that really helps you to understand not like how our sex drive and sexual desires will be affected in a long-term relationship, and what you can do about it. So that's really important, right? Because most people do want to be married, stay married, and be monogamous. So how do you navigate that? The third book that I really like is Red Hot Touch by Jaya, so Jaiya. So Jaya is a sex educator like myself. She's my senior, and she wrote Red Hot Touch based on her training with Joseph Kramer, who is also one of my teachers. I like her book because it's really simple, simply written, and yet so beautifully written. And so I really recommend it as a first sex books for some couples because it covers vulva massage techniques and penis massage techniques, and enough information about the anatomy without being overwhelming. So I really like that book actually, and I was recommending it for the first few years when I started my practice. And of course, I recommend my own book, Orgasmic Yoga. The practice Orgasmic Yoga changed my life. I learned it from my teacher, Joseph Kramer. And Orgasmic Yoga is not a term that I coined. And it is also taught by other sex educators around the world. And I recommend my own book because this is when masturbation meets with meditation, and the link between sex and spirit became really clear to me. The importance of learning how to love yourself by getting involved in prolonged masturbation and embodying that in your body, on the amount of love that you can put into yourself, was really profound. And so I recommend my own book because I think it's amazing. The practice is amazing, and the things that I've put inside has been very useful for a lot of people, and I've had good reviews as well. So yes, so these are the books that I recommend. I'll just go through them very quickly again. There's Erotic Mind, there's Mating in Captivity, there's a Red Hot Touch, and then there's my own book, Orgasmic Yoga. So you'll find them listed in the link below. And I love to hear from you, your comments, thoughts, and you can post them below, and also questions. And you can always email me at ask@eroscoaching.com. That's where I'm taking questions and making them into videos like these.